serve as the program chair, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Adaptive Leadership Conference. I have had the distinct pleasure over the past 6 months for working with what I consider to be the hardest working program committee that I've ever interacted with. This group labored and loved to deliver the enriching program that you see before you. And for that, I would like them to stand and for us to give them a round of applause for their service. I'm deeply humbled and honored to have played a role in creating the holding environment for each of us to pause and reflect on the shifting world around us. Where else in the universe could you assemble 260 diverse leaders to disentangle the messiness of these unsettling times? We spent weeks, as the program committee moved, through our own adaptive and technical challenges, to think about the best way to deliver a program to get this network to move beyond the gravitational pull of disorientation, polarization, and paralysis to move this group towards hope and action. We then settled on the conference theme to hold or disrupt, leading in unsettling times. And 6 months later, little did we know, the ripeness of our environment makes our conference theme even more relevant. In a world where you go to bed and wake up not knowing what adaptive challenge will be featured on the morning news, we can all attest that sanctuaries are needed now more than ever. It doesn't matter whether you're in the US watching a terrorist shoot innocent people at a country music concert, or globally witness the international resurgence of white supremacist groups, or whether you're in France or in Germany holding your breath during the elections. You cannot help but to shake your head and say, where do we go from here in our current adaptive swamp? I believe our conference here was divinely orchestrated. I believe that each and every one of you are here at this present point in time, in this place, to grapple with what does it mean to exercise adaptive leadership when the global temperature has exceeded the point of productive disequilibrium. If we take a moment to step back on this orchestration, diverse life circumstances led us to Harvard. For some, it was time to rethink your purpose with the mid-career program. Others left distant shores to study international development, to return home to be the hope that they wished to see. Some of us, like me, took classes at HKS to broaden my horizon. Some of you enrolled in executive education classes to continue your learning journey. And some of you have entered through a different channel, not through Harvard, by being exposed to the material in other places. But whatever your path is, the important thing is you were led to some form of an educational environment to study the practice of adaptive leadership. And because of that, I believe we possess a unique toolkit to look, listen, learn, and act during this current transition period in our world. Some may argue that we are in a crisis challenge. I disagree. We are in the midst of a transition. People are grappling with the process of shifting to a new set of norms and attitudes for the changing demography and the push for a more equitable world. A new world where a gay German male and a black African woman can lead this conference in a field where our voices historically have not been seen as representing adaptive leadership. In this transition, our charge is not to spend the weekend working on speeches to bring a salvation message to the people. I offer that we are here for a more revolutionary approach, one where we exercise leadership through the dialogue with the people, through their objective perspectives, and helping them to understand and build a greater awareness of the world around them. We are the people. I challenge each of you and myself to resist the gravitational pull, to polarize and align only with people who think like you. The revolutionary approach to exercising leadership requires us to seriously consider the reasons for any attitude of mistrust on the part of the people, to seek true communion with them, to think about ways to help people make sense, and to understand and critically perceive the reality of the world around them. Although I just quoted Paulo Freire's definition of revolutionary leadership, we could argue that those same values undergird the practice of adaptive leadership. Think about our key terms. Listen to the song beneath the words. Understand loyalties before taking action. With stakeholders. Determine the appropriate orienting level. And give the work back to the people. I wholeheartedly believe that exercising adaptive leadership is a revolutionary act. So my call to action for you and for me is to be countercultural over the next 3 days. We are who we have been waiting for. Each of you, we are who we have been waiting for. So be free. Free yourself to take on new perspectives, unearth the hidden waters that you may be carrying underneath the surface, anchor yourself in the room of the 260 people who gathered here today. Form unlikely partnerships, and then we're going to ask you to mobilize. Welcome.